Now we're here. We have two parallel sessions. On the first parallel session, it's the story of the Borgesius Bakery in the Netherlands, creating stability in the face of changing customer needs. And in the other parallel session is shaping your future in uncertain times with Lean, a university case. This is from Portugal with João Balbino and Sergio Caldeirinha. And here on the main stage, I already see my friends from Norway, Eivind, Martin, and Daryl. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Good morning. Well, good afternoon, really. Hello. So the stage is yours for the next half hour. You'll be telling us about searching for the Kaizen spirit under the Northern Lights. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Roberto. And yes, I guess it is morning somewhere in this
in Planet Lean.
In Planet Lean. And thank you to Roberto and Chris. You are still standing after all this time. Fantastic. Well, welcome to Norway.
Welcome to Norway and greetings from Trondheim in near the north of Norway. And yeah, thank you also to Eivind for giving us such a spectacular title for our talk. I think searching for the Kaizen spirit under the Northern Lights, really, yeah, it's a little bit romantic, but I think it has a very important meaning as well, because we go to many different companies who claim to have implemented Lean or to be an example of Lean manufacturing or Lean management. And we go and we see the Lean tools, of course. It's a very prominent to witness in such companies. But to really, truly see the Kaizen spirit is just like when we go and spend a night out under the stars to try and see the Northern Lights. And it's a mystical being. We all want to see it, but it's very difficult to find. So I hope we're going to share some stories about the Kaizen spirit. Maybe not so many about the Northern Lights. But yeah, what's up? I think the question on everyone's lips is, what is the Kaizen spirit?
What we are looking at.
What is it, Martin? What is the Kaizen spirit?
For me, Kaizen spirit is the basically challenging my organization, my workers, to go out of the comfort zone. But sometimes during my career, I was a little bit unsure what we are looking at. So I would like to really ask you, could you help me to define it?
Well, actually, for the last 6 years, Daryl and I, we've been searching Scandinavia for the Kaizen spirit. We're not sure. We found glimpses of it. Just like the Northern Lights, you can see it in glimpses. For these 6 years, we've been writing case studies, writing and publishing for Planet Lean. We're putting a book together, or a report, that we will hopefully publish by early next year. But there's 3 kind of main points that has come to light that we've seen during our search. Now, the first one is having the audacity to try new things. And one example is from an amusement park in Norway. They have in Norway, we have a very famous children's book. It's called the Huckleberry Forest. And in the amusement park, they wanted to make a live version of this famous story. Now, they knew they didn't want to, they wanted to make it an outside theater, which is hard enough in itself. Previously, when they made these type of theaters, they would just, they would design it and, hope for the best, I guess, and then fix it. They were dabbling in Lean at the time. So what they did was they used visualization and actually front loading as an idea for how to develop, especially the seating cart for the show. So the way they did it, they got some suggestions from, I think it was a German supplier. They didn't like them, so they invited the German supplier to Norway. They went out into the forest where they would do the show, and they actually tried different designs together and played small parts of the show as it would happen. So like a sketch. The result is spectacular. It's one of the most popular amusement park rides in Norway. So that's one example of someone trying something new. Now, Martin, during COVID in 2020, you were lean manager in a fish factory on the northwest coast of Norway.
Yes, yes.
And we were talking, and you said, "Oh, we have problems with competence, skills, and we saw poor quality." So what did we do? What did you do?
Our problem, our challenge was that during the fluctuation and when the COVID hit, we got the skilled workers during the seasonal change, and at that moment we were completely blocked. So we discovered that we are missing flexibility. We had an enormous focus on the cost and efficiency, and we forgot to build in operator flexibility in our company. So we need to do something. We need to discover something. We need to fix it. So we tried training with the industry,
and we actually did it over Teams.
We've done it over Teams. Yes, it was very interesting. That implementation of training with the industry helped us to understand that we had a huge issue with the training, variation in the training, how we learn people to do the job, and we discovered a lot of Kaizen opportunities during the job method. And this step showed to us also that we don't have a system, we don't have an organization which could handle all this Kaizen we got from our workers, which again helped us. And we were not sure actually what we were doing, but helped us to understand after a while that we created a habit of thinking each day to improve, habit of Kaizen. And I was thinking we were leaning through the Kaizen culture in this moment. It was amazing time. We discovered a lot of cool things about ourselves, our process, job, and the people. Yeah.
And I remember one of the things what happened was, like you say, again, it's the entry point is we need to try something.
Yeah.
There's a hypothesis. If we try this, something will happen. There's a change that can happen.
Definitely.
And then we did it. We had a test one.
We did.
And then we tried and we saw, and what happened was spectacular.
It was spectacular, and we see also a lot of the people development. What happened in movie and against Vanessa this time. It was, and for us also, it was new experience. I remember we were really discovering the key to standard work also. So it was very good time. It was very good time. Yeah.
Daryl,
Eivind,
during COVID.
Actually, yeah. During COVID, I also have another story I'd like to share. It's about a small factory in the south of Norway, a little place called Skien. It's a producer of birthing sheets, you can call them. It's what you use in hospitals during the birthing process. Highly absorbent materials. And just at the start of the corona pandemic, they decided to repurpose their factory to create a production line, actually 3 small production lines for making medical gowns to protect the frontline healthcare workers during the COVID pandemic. And they received an order for hundreds of thousands of these protective gowns. But in the first week of production, they only managed to produce 300 gowns. And they realized this is a pretty intense gap. But they believed, of course, that it was having this belief and the courage to try something new. They contacted us at Sintef Manufacturing and asked us how might lean help us to increase productivity of these medical gowns. So over the next few weeks, we went in, we worked with the operators. It was certainly a great example of this. What do we call it? The spirit of dugnad in Norwegian. Dugnad. Yeah. So people just wanted to get involved and do their bit to help save lives, and it was beautiful. So this drove the learning in the organization. And over the course of the next few weeks, we learned everything about quality management, about flow lines, value stream mapping, cell production, and I mean, really they're just taking attention to quality defects in the gowns themselves. This company was able to go from 300 in the first week to 3,500 gowns per day. That's a huge increase. There's hundreds of percents increase in productivity through applied lean thinking and practice. So I think there it's really about trying something new and having the grit, the grit and the courage to continue and learn new things on the job. I think that's an important thing.
We have two great quotes come to mind. Mark Byrne yesterday mentioned his sensei, Nakao, saying, what was the quote? It was, if you don't try something, no knowledge
will visit you.
And the other one I recall is from John Shook, again from his sensei, which is sometimes you have to act your way to a new way of thinking, or something to that effect. So I think that's what we're looking at here. You have to have a courage. If you want to find the Kaizen spirit, you have to have the courage to try something new.
Precisely. But I think also that the courage is one thing, the courage and the curiosity to try something new. But of course, we're highly dependent on leadership. And I think that takes us over into the next area for the Kaizen spirit.
Absolutely. Because this is the second thing we discovered from our sort of longitudinal study of Scandinavian companies over the last 6 years, is that leadership, we all know and we all have heard 1,000 times probably that leadership is important for lean, but leadership for what? And I think what we see is that it's the leadership for learning. So leadership to create the conditions to learn. Now, for one example, and again, I think I'm starting off here again.
Please do.
Please do. For one example we have is from Sweden. So we've talked about Norway now, and we're moving to Sweden. In Sweden, there's a beautiful automobile manufacturer in Gothenburg, Volvo Cars, not to be mistaken by the Volvo trucks, which are actually not the same company. Volvo Cars had, for many years, on and off, dabbled with lean. In around 2017 or something like that, our good friend from Sweden, Jaap Frick, I don't know if you're out there, Jaap, but if you are, hello. He rejoined, or he joined Volvo as I think as a global production production system leader, in charge of revitalizing. And what he found was a company with 6 Sigma belts and but not much improvement, unfortunately. Around a year later, another important person joined. Actually, a guy called Jonathan. He came from Toyota. He was trained by Toyota in Japan. Actually, Jaap told us that the first thing when he picked him up on the airport in Sweden, the first thing he said was, "Hi, I'm Jonathan. What are the 3 fundamentals of standardized work?" That's not what the story is about. Anyway, what they did. Small digression.
That was in the quiz.
That was in the quiz, yeah. So what they did together, actually, they developed a leadership training program for Volvo Cars based around the 3Ms. They called it 3M training. And the way they did it, which was very clever, is they picked out an area, a production line. They went there, and together with the team, improved it. Really improved it. And then they went back. Then a couple of months later, they would invite a team of senior executives, senior managers to this area with the one job: to improve it even better, make it even better. And bear in mind, this was then an area of the production line that was already improved. So what were they doing? They were really teaching them to look at what was actually happening. The first part was remove any overburden from the operators. That was the first day. Second day. Third day. And then once they'd established the new standardized work, the new tactics way of working, they would implement it and try it at the end of the week. Now, bear in mind, you train these managers, many of them, over a long time. and you get results. We've been to Volvo cars for study visits over the last, actually, a few years. I was there the first time in 2018, and we were there last time now in August. And you can see the difference. You can actually see how the production line is running smoothly. Operators are working in a smooth fashion. The logistics is synchronized with the production line. It looks like a just-in-time, a TPS production system. But the other thing they did, which is also, I think, is interesting, is they also focused immensely on operators' technical skills. So they developed a technical skill center for the operators. I actually got to try it. It was very funny. I didn't do very well, actually. My job is probably not as an operator or a team member on a production line.
Don't give up your day job.
I won't try. I will not give up my day job. So that's one example of showing leadership for learning. In Denmark, we have another example.
Scandinavia, right?
In Scandinavia.
Great story from Denmark, actually. We presented this at the Lean Forum Norway annual conference in Oslo just a couple of weeks ago. Henrik Sorby, a good colleague of mine from Velux in Denmark. And actually the story goes, I mean, back then, so Velux had its production system. It was, I like the word dabbling. They're using the word dabbling. They were dabbling with Lean because many of us are dabbling with the Lean tools and the techniques and some training of operators, but really missing the point between the leadership and the culture change efforts. But I think dabbling with Lean was one thing, but then came this Industry 4.0, big digitalization frontier, which let's put it quite frankly, as Lean people got pretty afraid. The people don't need Lean anymore when Industry 4.0 is coming on scene. Everything's going to be digital. We don't need Lean, but that was a wrong way of thinking, thankfully enough. But what happened was management decided that, okay, we should implement some Internet of Things sensors into the line, and using some real-time information from the sensors, the operators would receive this real-time data on iPads or on tablets, and they'd be able to increase the overall equipment effectiveness of the machine, so the availability and the quality of the machine. So they implemented the system, and after 6 months of trying and failing, basically, there was no change, no improvement. The OEE was still exactly the same as it was pre-IoT. So the leadership went back to the drawing board and actually realized that rather than leading as implementers of a technological system, we should rather lead in the learning development of the employees and the team leaders. So they embarked on an action learning program together with the team leaders and the supervisors, using actually Toyota Kata as a means of engaging in coaching together with the employees to actually understand what are the problems we're facing in the production line. What capabilities can the technology offer us, and actually matching this together to create the solutions for the right problems. So now the operators on the production line can actually turn around and say, well, this sensor's in the wrong place. The sensor should rather be here because they were getting the wrong data. And now we're able to use the data more effectively to increase the efficiency of the production line. So they saw a marked increase then over the next 6 months, actually, of the output from the machine and the availability of the production line. So that's a great example of how leadership managers, even the top manager on site, was engaged as a coach to actually learn about the technology to find and solve the right problems.
Because learning Lean, as we've discovered, is not learning the tools.
No.
But it's discovering what the tools are telling us we need to learn. And Martin, you figure this out the hard way.
Yes, the learning for leaders can be sometimes very difficult. So after great stories and I can call it Kaizen success in the movie, I got extremely self-confident. I changed the company, which was scaling and doing very well. So my idea was that I thought I knew what I'm doing. I thought that I know everything about the Lean, about the methods and the function, the hidden purpose of the methods, and I started the journey with the new company. What I discovered was that I had no problem to get people with me. and everything was going, in my opinion, very smooth. So I got very confident, and I was a little bit blind. So as you know, a few months after I started in the new company, I got the visit of a sensei, who basically challenged me the hard way. And it was not a pleasant feeling. I had to rethink many things. I had a very, very, very deep reflection. And I realized that I was far away from the customer, that I need to personalize my values, and I have to act according to those values, and change a little bit direction of the things I was doing. And the guys who were in my team, they will need to do the same. And we have to start to walk the talk. This was amazing, but the feeling was very, very, very difficult. After a while, we changed the direction a little bit, and yeah, I can say honestly with you that after 2.5, 3 years of working with the company and the people, I could feel it. We have the Kaizen culture on the floor with the middle management. We have different problems daily with machines, with the process, with the people, but we knew how to solve it, and it was working automatically. So I was very, very happy. So we need to learn each day, and I think the changeover in our heads is difficult. But if leaders, if we are not going to follow up, and if we are not going to change, this can be difficult for us. We need to learn each day.
Exactly. And actually, that leads me, to our third discovery. Because learning each day means it never stops. So the third thing we saw is that having the long-term vision to do Kaizen, to make discoveries, to solve problems, discover new challenges every day, every week, every year is key to sustaining. Keep bringing it back, because if not, the Kaizen spirit, it goes away, it disappears. And what you see is old visual management problem-solving boards where the last problem was 2017, 2019. We have seen that. It's sad. We cry a bit inside when that happens. So Martin, now you have a new role, and you have now started your long-term work to turn around an amazing company in Norway.
Yes. I'm extremely happy to be factory manager in Moretrafo. We are producing transformators and the substation. And I'm very fresh in that role, and I have a good opportunity now to learn on my mistakes. And I hope I'm on the right track. So, but it will be impossible without the long-term strategy. And I will be honest with you, with the CEO who said, listen, I want our company to be lean. I want to have this Kaizen culture you are talking about. And I want it to happen each day. And I want you to expect from my people, your people, and the production that their work is not only to assemble, look at the quality, work with relations, but also do the Kaizen each day. Then we will get the habit. Organizational habit, and the problems will appear with the fluctuation, with quality, with demanding customers, with the scaling of the business. Then we have organization which is very flexible, is ready to problem solving. Yes, and I will be honest with you. Again, I'm feeling that things are moving smooth. I learned from my visit of Sensei that I have the eyes open. Each company is different. Each culture of the companies is different, and I'm looking forward to see where we are going to in the next years. But it have to come with a long-term plan.
In the valleys of southern Norway, we have a company that actually has gone before you. In 2015, they won the Norwegian Lean Prize. But that was only the start.
That was just the start, and actually that's an important. For me, that's the acid test. So we've actually visited several Shingo Prize winning companies in Ireland, amongst other things. There's no Northern Lights there usually, unless it's exceptional. But what we often find is once the managers have won the prize, the Lean Company Award, they're satisfied. They become complacent, and things stop. And then you kind of lose this long-term vision, and certainly it's the acid test for if the Kaizen spirit is indeed there or not. So coming back to the valleys, in the south of Norway.
Kenneth, are you with us?
Kenneth, I hope you're there. In 2015, Gilje Tre won the Lean Company of the Year award in Norway for fantastic engagement in continuous improvement. And I think that the real proof is in the pudding there is that they didn't stop in 2015. It only just started. So even since 2015, I think they've gone from like a month or so of throughput time in the factory to 15 days. But from more recently, around 2019 to 2023, we've also had another project where they've gone from 15 days to 6 hours of throughput time through a continuous focus on quality and defects. I think that's an important message to everyone, is that there's a lot of learning behind the defects that we find in production. Of course, it's very cold in Norway, and being wooden windows, they were simply burning the defective products to heat the factory. Makes sense, right?
Circular economy.
Circular economy. Recovering energy from the waste products. But all jokes aside, it's much colder in the factory nowadays because their quality has increased dramatically through just caring and focusing about quality and defects and learning from them.
So then, so that kind of leads us to, how do we know because the Kaizen spirit is elusive, how do we know it's there? And actually, we got some help from our good friend Isao Yoshino. He pointed us in the right direction. It took us some time to understand it. In France, a couple of years back, he was asked, what's the secret to Toyota? And his answer was very simple. They're just a very serious company. So we came up with this, hopefully to help you guys. We came up with the idea of the Yoshino scale. And the Yoshino scale is a self-assessment tool. It's very simple. And you ask yourself one question.
How serious are you?
And one, leave us alone. We're fine as we are. We don't need to improve. You're not serious at all.
So a scale of 1 to 10.
Scale of 1 to 10. Good point, Daryl. 10. There's a challenge. We need to solve these problems. Let's do Kaizen now.
Right away.
Right away. Let's leave the webinar. We need to go and do some Kaizen. Then you're a 10.
Then you're serious.
Then you're serious. In Norway, we found the Norwegian 5. Yes, we know we have a problem. We see the challenge. We want to improve. We just have to think about it over the winter.
We need some meetings to discuss it.
And we need to discuss it.
We should all be involved. We need to discuss it in detail.
So the question is, what is your ranking?
How serious are you?
So with that, let's see. We have a couple of minutes left. Let's see if there are any questions for us. I'm just looking at my computer over here. There's nothing more. There's one on the more. Oh, Q&A. Has a couple of questions. So, what is the main change for leaders to focus on process improvement and not just putting out fires? What's the main change a leader has to go through to not going from firefighting to actually improving product quality and process?
I'm thinking the commitment leader have to make, and kind of awareness that he is firefighting. Because I think biggest problem with my team was that we reward firefighters. Yeah, you actually basically do that. We have a problem on the line. We have a problem with the reclamation, the claim, and then someone is solving it very fast without going deep into the problem, without understanding the root cause. But still, we are saying, hey, great job, Daryl. Yeah, you fixed the. No, amazing, you helped me. But what is the root cause of the problem? This thinking change with the leadership is extremely important.
There you have it. Final word from Martin. Thank you from Norway.
Guys, hello. Thank you very much. Thank you for a great presentation. Thank you for being with us. I need to come to see you all in Norway.
Yes, sir.
We'll save some
Thank
Northern
you.
Lights for you.
Yeah, well, hard. This title was romantic.
Oh,
was.
please do.
Good man.
Thank you, guys. Goodbye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Ciao.